Crash Bandicoot, a series that is slowly fading into obscurity. We all know what happened to Crash and all of us hope for a revival of the series someday. Whilst we wait for that eventual revival of the beloved Bandicoot, it's time to look back at one of the last good Crash games, Crash Twinsanity, for the PlayStation 2. The story starts with Cortex dressing up as Coco and tricking Crash into following him. Wait, what? Cortex, an evil mastermind dressing up as a little girl? Now, if you're a Crash fan, then you know that this is very different to the previous games. The older games took themselves seriously, but this game knows it's about a Bandicoot that breaks boxes. During the tutorial, we also meet a skunk that breaks the fourth wall. If you weren't sure about the game at this point, surely you're sold by now.
Hey! Yeah, you! I've been doing this for 10 stinking years! Back and forward, and I'm sick of it! Well, I'm not gonna do it no more!
Cortex then removes his disguise and reveals himself to Crash. Now I know that he's just an animal, but surely he would have known that it was Cortex. It just seems so dumb to me that Crash had no idea, especially when he lives with his sister. Oh, and Aku Aku is there too. Surely he would have noticed. So Cortex reveals Crash's
hydraulically operated twin brother Mecha Bandicoot.
So you have an easy boss fight. All the boss fights in this game are easy, by the way. So, after you destroy Mecha Bandicoot, Cortex gets annoyed and attacks Crash. This is where the first new gameplay style is introduced. You play as Crash and Cortex whilst they fight each other. It's a really cool concept, but it's one of the weaker gameplay styles that this game has to offer. Crash and Cortex find a crystal and we are introduced to another gameplay style. This time you control Crash and Cortex as they pull a crystal. You can slam Cortex's head against boxes and throw Cortex at switches and gems. When you finish the level, you are introduced to the bad guys, the evil twins. These two aren't the best villains the series has to offer, but considering they are meant to be funny, I think it works. The twins reveal their evil plan to destroy Crash's island. Cortex doesn't take them seriously, so they remove his brain. We then have to guide Cortex as he gets a beehive on his head and a bear chases him.
You have to help me, Crash. You heard them. They want to destroy our island home, humiliate and enslave you, and steal my brain! How I envy the simple life of the tribesfolk. What have I got? What have I got? What have I got? Living in harmony with Mother Nature. The noble boar. The humble bumblebee. Ah!
Then we encounter the twins again, who tell us they are from the 10th dimension. We then have another easy boss fight and make our way to Cortex's iceberg lair. Now, because Cortex is a complete and utter idiot, he forgets the keys to his evil tower, so we have to go a different way. As we make our way up, we are treated to Cortex breaking the fourth wall.
Well, the past few years have kind of been slow. Wrath of Cortex didn't do as well as we'd hoped, and... Fish?
Not long after that, we bump into Uka Uka and have another easy boss fight. After this, Aku Aku and Uka Uka decide to team up and fight the twins, but that doesn't really work out.
It's probably for you.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
At this point, we are also treated with one of the funniest lines in the game.
Dr. Cortex, what have you done?
Who are these evil upstarts? I've ruined the lives of so many. I can't be expected to remember them all.
Cortex realizes they need power crystals to stop the evil twins, so they head towards Engine's ship. Along the way, we are treated with the weirdest scene in the entire series.
There! To the sea, I tell you! Our salvation floats upon the briny blue! We must reach Engine's battleship, and quickly before it sets sail! But how? Think, Cortex, think!
This is where we are introduced to yet another gameplay style, the Humiliscape. Crash decides to use Cortex as a surfboard and well, this happens.
Coming through! Ow! Ladies? No! Excuse me, madam. Are those real?
What is it?
Mother?
And this. This game just keeps getting weirder, doesn't it? At the end of the level, Crash and Cortex roll up into a snowball and destroy Dingodale's house, but he doesn't really care as he overhears Cortex talking about the evil twins' treasure. We then make our way through a level that I always struggled on as a kid. Now, the engine part of this stage isn't very hard, but the bit where the walrus chases you was so hard for me when I was younger. I remember it taking months to beat this damn section. I remember finally beating it with only 1 life left and then being greeted with the Brio and trophy fight and dying immediately. This part of the game doesn't really give me much trouble anymore, but just thinking about the walrus part fills me with anger. After this, Cortex decides that the easiest way to get to the 10th dimension is to go to his niece's school, so we go there and experience the most boring level in the game. Now the concept of this level is hilarious, but the level itself is just boring.
I'm stuck! The greatest evil scientist in the world! Stuck in a pipe. How could things get any worse?
Although it sure is worth it.
Cozy, ain't it? Rumour is you two chumps have got your mitts in some treasure, and I want a piece of that pie.
I have no idea what you just said.
We are then treated with the best boss in the game, Dingodile. This boss is so good, the music is amazing, and the boss is the only boss that is actually slightly challenging. It isn't a huge step up in terms of difficulty, but compared to the rest of the game, it stands out as one of the harder moments. Also, am I the only one who thinks it's really weird that Dingodile is perving around underneath a school? I think he's looking for a different kind of treasure. In the next level, we get to play as Cortex. This section is okay, it plays fine, but I don't really feel like it fits in with the rest of the game. The music in this stage is great though. Now we are introduced to Cortex's niece, Nina Cortex. We also get a new gameplay style. Nina is basically a slightly slower Crash but with a grapple hook. I really wish we could have spent more time playing as her, as this section of the game is really good. After our short playtime as Nina, we take control of Cortex again for a boss fight against one of his teachers, Madame Amberly. This boss is nothing special, just dodge the platforms and shoot the bells. Cortex tells us that we now finally have enough crystals to stop the evil twins, so we travel to a new dimension. I find it funny how the developers included a joke about how they ran out of time when making the game.
Come now, as we explore a new dimension! It should have been 2 new dimensions, but we ran out of time.
The first thing we see when we get there is this.
Your fur is so soft and warm.
It doesn't stop there though. After evil Crash steals Nina, we are treated to the funniest moment in the game.
My daughter, niece! We must do something! Think, Cortex, think!
Seriously, this is such a dirty joke in a game meant for kids. It amazes me that they got away with it. Now we get another skating section. So, we make our way through the rest of the island and make our way to the evil twins base. Now for the longest level in the game. This level is filled with puzzles and kind of drags on, so after making it through the level, we finally confront the evil twins. In this boss fight, we control Nina, Cortex, and then Mecha Bandicoot. Pretty cool, right? So the twins are defeated and evil Crash eats them. The end.
Oh boy! I love roast chicken. Well, this is one heck of an ending.
Unlike the previous Crash games, this game is not a collectathon platformer. Instead, the game is more focused on going from point A to point B. This game has a similar format to Jak and Daxter. It is an open world with no loading screens. Along the way, there are some crystals and gems. In this game, you don't get the gems from breaking all the boxes like in the previous games. Instead, you get them from doing mini puzzles in the levels. Each level has 6 gems. Gems unlock concept art and bonus videos. Nothing too special. As I mentioned earlier, this game has tons of different gameplay styles. Wrath of Cortex tried to incorporate multiple styles, but they were mostly vehicles and didn't really fit in with the overall theme of the game, with the exception of the ball. This game gets all the gameplay styles perfectly. They all control really well, and although some may be better than others, there aren't any bad ones. The game changes itself often enough to not get boring, and none of the gameplay styles are that bad that you don't hate the thought of playing certain sections of the game on repeat playthrough. One thing that does suck is the camera though. Why the hell is it inverted? Twinsanity is also glitchy. Some people experience more issues than others. Here are a few I encountered whilst recording.
Throw me over there. Trust me. We're pals, right?
One thing that sucks about this game is the length. The game only takes about 3 hours to complete. That's right, 3 hours. When I was getting footage for this review, I captured the entire game in a single play session. There isn't much to do after you complete the game either apart from play it again. This game has one of the best soundtracks in any game. It is incredibly memorable and so unique. All of the music was done using a cappella, which means no instruments were used. That is insane. Also, none of the songs sound similar. They are all vastly different. Considering that the entire soundtrack was done with voices, it is amazing just how much each of the tracks vary in style. Just listen to some of these songs. In conclusion, Twinsanity is an awesome game. It may only take about 3 hours to complete, but the game is so cheap that I urge you to try it out if you haven't already. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and maybe check me out on Twitter. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in my next video.